Once again, I'm recording when I did not know that I would be recording today, and I will be trying to keep this as quick as possible. I just want to teach a little tiny bit of an exercise on boundaries, just something to keep in mind, and it may actually be boundaries with spirit, and it may actually be really important if you are a neurodivergent practitioner, I guess, because it's just important to have boundaries in general, and I have done, this is my second video on boundaries. I will link the first one where it's available to you, and I just want to say, this is something I was taught in a formal class, but a very long time ago. I have always studied, either various of my team have pushed me into classes at different times. In any case, so this is a very quick exercise. If there's no reason to really be overwhelmed by one's spirit guides, but they can get demanding if you put say if you have no boundaries with them. So one way to have boundaries with them is to say something like, if the door is closed, I'm not available, and then you can visualize any kind of door, whatever comes to mind. Generally speaking, whatever comes to mind first is a great whatever comes to mind first is best. If you can't visualize, if it's just not something you're doing yet or ever, some people do not visualize, but you can still feel, you can do something like feeling the door. If you're feeling the door, that is already clairsentience. That is perfectly acceptable, and that's a way to practice clairsentience. So you can feel the door, you can imagine yourself feeling the door with your hands, or with even your heart, or anything like that. And you can say, hey, if the door is closed, I'm not available to you. And then it's if you can set hours for that. You can say, I'm not available after 5 p.m. A lot of if someone is a professional medium, they may put hours on when they're available to their team, because that's perfectly valid. If you're saying I'm not available during dinner, I'm not available after business hours when I'm not on the clock doing mediumship, perfectly valid. And so any way that you can imagine a door is a perfectly valid way to imagine. You don't have to be able to see it in order to have a door. And then you basically just are I'm on this side of the door, and my guide team, or the relatives, or the spirits that I'm sensing, are on the other side of the door. And it gives you a chance to get better sleep than I get, because I personally have always had lifelong insomnia, and it's a good idea to get it under control before you have lifelong insomnia, because of availability to spirit. So I advise try the door method. Anything else that makes sense to you, if something else makes better sense to you than having a door, if you're I want an elevator, and if I'm in the elevator, it's one thing, and if I'm out of the elevator, it's another thing. If that makes sense to you, hey, we live in a world that should be accessible. And so whatever method, even if you're the elevator door is my door, that's perfectly valid too. I just wanted to pass this exercise along, because it's better to start in the beginning with something like this. It's better to have it in mind. So that's literally it, and I will link the other boundary video as well.